Hello guys, welcome back to Concrete Elbow. There are still a lot of things that Brian Shaw needs to work on for him to be able to get in the same conversation with the top guys. No doubt that he's already got the genetics and the base strength that even most of the top super heavyweights don't have. And if we're talking about both at the same time, there's probably none. Now I think there are three main things that Brian needs to work on if he wants to get really serious in arm wrestling. Technique, experience, and conditioning. Experience and conditioning should progress automatically as the time goes, but technique is a different story. Technique is something that you want to master early on before getting into the deeper waters. The stronger guy will win at the end as long as he knows how to utilize his strengths. There are many branches when it comes to arm wrestling techniques, but in this video I want to specifically talk about foot positioning, because I just saw this photo that Brian posted on his Instagram stories. Now I'm very positive if you're still new to arm wrestling, your main goal once you get on the table is to pin your opponent, not to tire them out like Devon usually does. And this stance that Brian used is not effective for it. This is good if you want to gas out your opponent. As you can see, both of Brian's feet are facing forward and basically parallel to each other. This positioning is very effective if he's planning to lean his body backwards, dip it below the table slightly, utilize his leverage and immense back pressure, and make his opponent, in this case Devon, hold on to him. Basically like what Devon did in round 1 in his rematch against Levan, just a less extreme version of it. But I'm sure that was not Brian's plan. Brian's plan was to go sideways and pin Devon. Now at the end, effective foot positioning is what Brian feels most comfortable doing, but there are some base mechanisms to it. Let's say it's a right-handed arm wrestling. For example, if you're a top roller, especially if you're really tall like Brian, you should put your right foot forward, basically below your opponent's peg, and your left foot backwards, behind the left leg of the side of your table. And there are many variations to this. Levan usually puts his left foot so far back and pointed to the left, where he's planning to go, and Vitaly usually bends his knees instead of putting them even further apart. And for a press, the key is to put both of your feet facing where you'd want to go, in this case your left side of the table, because pressing is not really about going sideways, but instead going forward to the side. There are people like Jerry Red who would put their front foot up, pushing against the table leg, and there are also people like Kamil who would wrap the table leg with their hamstrings instead, and both works just as effective. And these choices that they made depends on which stance is the most comfortable and effective for them, and Brian's gonna need to find out about it himself, as long as he knows how the basics worked first, and then after that, rest in peace Levan.